2 years and about 50 batches, I finally made the perfect lemon cooler cookie. This is how I do it. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today's recipe is for a simple lemon cooler cookie. These cookies are full of lemon flavor. They're slightly tart, slightly sweet. They can be crunchy or soft depending on the way that you like them. They are fantastic and they took me forever to perfect. I'm happy to say though, I've done it. So let's get right into it. You don't need any fancy equipment. We're going to use a hand mixer and the oven to bake them in. I have a stick of salted butter. You can use unsalted butter. That's perfectly fine, but you might want to add a little extra salt to the batter. To the stick of room temperature butter, you're going to add 1/3 of a cup of white sugar. And now we take our hand mixer or stand mixer, because I do it both ways. Both works fine. Put that down. We're going to go on low at first, and then we're going to go up to high to really incorporate everything together. All right, that's enough. Now we're going to add in 1 egg and go on low again, and then we're going to increase to medium and then to high, and you want this to be nice and light and fluffy. After about 2 minutes on high speed, go ahead and take something and scrape down the sides and bring it all to the center. You'll get a nice feel for how light it is. I usually like to beat it for about 5 minutes, but it's already starting to become nice and light and fluffy. You will also see the color go from a darker yellow. Now, of course, this will depend on the color of your egg yolk. My eggs are from my hens. They tend to be a little bit richer in color, so that will make a difference. But you will see it go from a yellow to a paler yellow or even a light white. That looks perfect. Scrape down the side. Oh yeah, I can feel it. So it just feels lighter. And it's lightened in color a little bit. So now I just push everything back to the middle. All right, so you might be wondering, in the beginning, I said it took me 2 years and I don't know how many batches it took, over 50. Why? Right? Why? I mean, it's a simple cookie, and this is a simple cookie. It's because getting enough lemon flavor without it tasting artificial is a little tricky. It can either be over lemony and then maybe too bitter, or it can be under lemony, or it can be like artificial tasting. But finally, I got the perfect texture to the cookie and the perfect lemon flavor. I'm so excited. You're gonna love these cookies. Please don't go more than this. Okay, so there's certain times when more is fine, like onions, garlic, things like that. But when it comes to a lemon extract or any extract, more is not necessarily better. Sometimes with vanilla, a little more is better, but when it comes to peppermint or lemon, don't use more. 1/2 teaspoon of lemon extract. That's it, okay? No more or it gets alcoholic tasting. Then you want to have a lemon and zest it right in here. Be careful that you don't go too far when you're zesting, because you don't want to get the white part, which is the pith, which is a little bit bitter, okay? Now, every time I use my zester, I have somebody point out that I'm doing it wrong because they do it this way. I can't do it this way, guys. Like, it's just not natural. I can't do it. I understand why that would be beneficial, especially with ginger, but I can't do it. So you just have to roll with me here. You zest your lemon any way you want. All right, perfect. Don't skip the lemon zest either if you want these to be perfect lemon cookies. You need it. They are not the same without it. Buy the lemon, okay? All right, then I'm gonna juice, but I only need a half of a tablespoon. Again, more is not better here because you don't want your cookie batter to be too loose. So more is not better. All right, cut the lemon in half. Usually, depending, I mean, each lemon's a little different, but usually you'll get a tablespoon to 2 out of 1/2 of a lemon. You can absolutely make a double batch of these if you want. So I just squeeze it into a bowl. And then I measure it out and throw it in. Now we need our dry ingredients. 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt or kosher salt. If you're using unsalted butter, you might want to put an extra pinch in there. 1/2 of a teaspoon of baking soda, okay? We've got acid in this batter. You want to use the baking soda for the right rise in texture, not baking powder. All right, then just grab a little spoon or a fork and just mix this all together. And preheat your oven, okay? I'm gonna get into the details about the heat and the cooking time because it varies depending on whether you want soft cookies or crunchy cookies. I'm a crunchy cookie girl, so I have mine preset to 300. If you're a soft cookie person, then you're gonna preheat to 325 degrees. All right, now we're gonna add in, you can mix this together if you want, but it's not really necessary. You could put in your first bit of flour. Put in about 1/3 of this mixture here. You don't have to be exact or anything like that. Now, when you beat this, you're gonna go on low just until it's incorporated. That's it, like 30 seconds, okay? Add in another 1/3. Low until it's incorporated. Final 1/3. Low until it's incorporated. Then scrape and make sure all the flour has incorporated in to the cookie dough because some likes to sit down at the bottom sometimes. And this looks perfect. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. All right, our oven's preheated. Mine is 300. Yours will be at 325 degrees Fahrenheit if you want soft cookies. Or try some of both. We could do that today. I could try some of both because I'm gonna do 2 trays of these. All right, I've got a large cookie sheet. You could do a smaller cookie sheet, it really doesn't matter. You need a small scoop, about a tablespoon in size. You don't wanna go much bigger than that. They won't cook correctly. You can go smaller and then decrease your cook time a little bit. So I'm gonna take one out. You just drop them right onto the sheet pan. Now the material of your cookie sheet does make a difference when you're making cookies. So make sure that you know what the material is. This is just like an aluminum pan. If you have a darker coated pan, you may wanna even decrease your heat another 25 degrees. Because they tend to cook a little bit faster. And especially if you want crunchy cookies, you need a low heat for a longer period of time to dry them out. If you want crunchy cookies, also I don't recommend using silicone and don't use parchment underneath. If you want softer cookies, that doesn't matter so much. But for crunchy cookies, we need all the heat we can get here to make sure that they crunch up correctly. Okay, I'm gonna bake these at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. This is gonna be our crunchy cookie. While the cookies are baking, we need to get our powdered sugar and lemon mixture all mixed up so that when they come out of the oven, they're ready to go right into the powdered sugar because that's super important. They need to be warm so that the sugar adheres. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. 3 different ways I'm gonna tell you about. One is using citric acid, which is common to use in canning, so you may have it if you're a canner. The issue I had with this was getting the concentration correct. A little bit goes a long way. So start with 1 cup of powdered sugar and just put a pinch in, mix it up, give it a taste until it gets to the tartness that you want on your cookie. Okay. I never got that fine balance. It was always just a little bit too puckery or not puckery enough. And it was frustrating, right? So I was at the store and I found this True Lemon lemonade and I thought, let me try that. And it worked beautifully. Now there's different variations of this. This is the True Lemon lemonade, which actually has crystallized lemon in it and some other ingredients. Like I think it's got a little cane sugar in there. You can just get the True Lemon. Okay, they're smaller packets. You're still gonna use 2 of them because it's the same amount of crystallized lemon, just doesn't have the other additives. So open it up, you're gonna use 2 little pouches. In case they come in a different way, let me tell you, well, let's measure, let's see. So this is the lemonade, and it's probably gonna be about 1/2 tablespoon total, in case it comes like in bulk or something. If it's just True Lemon and it comes in bulk, it's just the crystallized lemon, I am not sure exactly how much it would be, but I think it's going to be about, I want to say 0.6 grams. It's not much. I'll have that information in my written post because my friend Amber tried this recipe already. She tested it for me after I got it to where I thought it was perfect. And she used just True Lemon and not the True Lemon lemonade. All right, mix this all up. You can sift your powdered sugar. I mean, it does make it a little bit nicer, but I didn't because I didn't feel like it. So mine's got a little lumpy. It'll be fine though. So mix this all up. If you are unsure whether it's tart enough or lemony enough, just dip your finger in. Perfect. Oh, so good. All right, set this aside until your cookies are done. Once they are done, we will leave them on the baking sheet for 2 minutes, not longer, 2 minutes, and then pop them in there to get them on their first coat of powdered sugar. Meanwhile, I'm gonna bake the softer style cookies at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. You know these cookies are done to the crunchy stage when they start to brown on the edges and they turn just light beige on top. You'll see the difference between the two different styles that we're making here today. You can see I try to get them on their tops as much as possible because that's where we want the powdered sugar to sort of melt in to the cookie when they're warm, because that is what's going to help that second coat of powdered sugar adhere once they're fully cooled. Now, take your pan, shake it around, and then coat them on the other side. You could use a little spoon to do this. That's usually what I do. And make sure they're coated on both sides with this powdered sugar. If for some reason you lose track of time and you let them cool all the way, the powdered sugar won't stick. So just keep that in mind. Now we're gonna put them on a cooling rack and let them cool completely, and then we'll toss them in the powdered sugar again. So when the softer style cookies are done, they're gonna be a little lighter on the top and lighter on the bottom, okay? So they are different in color as well as texture. But we do the same thing. We're gonna give them a quick bath in our powdered sugar mixture and then put them on the cooling tray to cool completely. We have just enough powdered sugar to coat the cookies again. There's 2 dozen cookies. We can coat them again lightly in the powdered sugar. However, it really does use up all of it. If you wanna have more powdered sugar, you can 1.5 or even double the powdered sugar and the True Lemon, okay? But I just do it this way because it's enough. All right, once they have their second bath in the powdered sugar, you want to store them in some sort of an airtight container. Usually I'll just put them back in the container with the powdered sugar and close it up, and they are good at room temperature for, I don't know, 4 to 5 days. If they're not in a sealed container, they will absorb the moisture from the air and they will soften up. So if you are a crunchy cookie person like I am, definitely put them in a baggie or a container like this with a lid, which is what I'm gonna do. And I find it easier to spoon over the powdered sugar for the second dip and then sort of shake off any excess. And you really don't even have to dip the bottoms again if you don't want to. I just do it out of habit, but if you think you're running out of powdered sugar, then skip that part. All right, now that they're all covered in powdered sugar, let me taste one. This is the crunchy cookie, which I know I prefer. And these are the softer cookies. So right off the bat, you can tell a little bit difference in size. These spread a little bit more than these do. And let's go ahead and open this up. There's just a tiny bit of crunch, if you will, on the very outside, but the center is very soft, whereas on these, they are crunchy throughout. My favorite. I think these are my favorite cookies. And then the softer ones. I don't know, they're good too. These sort of melt in your mouth, so they have a little bit of crispiness to the outside, but they're super soft and just sort of melt. These are more like they're supposed to be a crispy cookie. Both are absolutely fantastic. They're the perfect lemon cookie. You're gonna love them.